Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
He did, in fact, sustain a thumb injury that after kind of consulting with our doctors and Tyler, Uriah, and their staff, they decided the best move kind of moving forward was to go ahead and fix that thing. So we went ahead and did that. He had surgery today. Obviously, with that being the decision, we really had to focus on that opener. We still feel very strongly about our process to get him back and hopefully have him, barring any setbacks, available for that opener. And then just a heads up on Kane, he should be, we're day-to-day there. He kind of sustained a kind of a soft tissue lower leg injury.
Wow, was KOC more open about injuries in that 30-second clip than Mike Zimmer was in 8 years?
He wasn't even scheduled to talk. So he's talking.
Wow.
He's talking for the first time since the weekend today. He stopped and gave an update and then left, which is fine. But, I mean, the new Vikings, I'm not sure what to make of this one.
It's
like, they're
amazing.
literally
Wow.
their head coach is stopping there and updating you on surgeries and soft tissue injuries. And then he ran through the guys that he gave a Veterans Day to. So, yes, safe to say that this is as open as I've ever seen the Vikings, probably going back to Ticey's time when it comes to injury information.
This is great. Now, is he doing, because what's happened with previous coaches is, you do there's the official media session, but then sometimes they'll even do like maybe little secret writer sessions once in a while.
There's no secret writer session that
Okay.
I know of. So it's all, but
Maybe
I mean,
you're out of the trust tree.
Oh, 100%.
You definitely are.
That's why I said that I know of, because there's a very good chance that the trust tree is past old Jugs by.
Yeah, maybe there's a back room at a bar somewhere, and all of KOC and all the insiders are meeting with
Saloon,
Judd.
Phil? A saloon
Yes.
where you walk through the doors and say, all right, let me talk to KOC.
Hey, I have one more question before we get to write that down here. So the barrage of hand injuries, right? So we got Irv Smith,
Yep.
Dalvin Cook. Didn't Alex Madison have a hand too?
In team drills yesterday.
I know we kind of joked about this, about that little poking helmet drill that they're doing. Is that the cause of these hand injuries?
Well, to be very, very, very clear, Irv Smith was hurt in team drills and full padded practices on Monday, so no there. I saw Madison get hurt. It was also in team drills. I think his finger got bent backwards or something.
Good.
Dalvin I did not see, and it was in the individuals. So there is a chance that he did bang his hand, and I just said a chance, off the helmet, which I told you guys I don't like. I don't like. How is that helmet not soft? Like, why are you having him hit a real helmet with his hand?
Well, because what's the point of the drill if the helmet isn't a real helmet, right? The whole goal is to try and get you used to hanging onto the ball while defenders are trying to knock it out, right? So.
And don't forget, too, in full padded practice on Monday, ball on the ground via the running backs 3 times.
Oh, dude.
Let's just say that was a point of emphasis at the Tuesday practice, and I wasn't happy either.
Controversy. So, all right, this is Purple Daily Vikings entertainment presented by our friends at TCL. No matter what you watch, TCL has an award-winning set of TVs for any budget, any space, all with stunning picture quality. And TCL makes more than just TVs. They offer mobile products, audio devices, home appliances. TCL bringing you joy and simplicity through innovative technology. And let's get to it, Declan, here. Every week we go through, unlike any show in America, our predictions and our accountability session. Let's hit it.
Most make predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackie and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down
Write it down. You like writing things down.
with Mackie and Judd.
And Write That Down, presented in part by Federated Mutual Insurance Company. They've been around for over 100 years, helping business owners maximize their business's level of success through risk management tools and resources. Federated's corporate culture is grounded in equity, integrity, teamwork, and respect. And these 4 cornerstones create the foundation that supports all interactions and decision-making. Find out how Federated can help your business at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. All right, boys, here's how it works. The most innovative and career-risking segment in all of sports media. The only show in America that actually puts statistics next to our predictions. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions each week from everybody. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns on the show. And if you guys want to participate, we may be getting Derek as a guest listener participant here. We're working on a schedule issue here. If not, it'll just be the 3 of us jokesters giving our predictions. But if you want to be part of the show, you can send us a message through the Score North app. It is free to download, and it's also the central hub for everything we do, including Feedback Friday across the shows. So, all right, are you ready to be held accountable?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like I am.
Well, let's start with you, Judd. This first one is one of the most egregious checkdowns in the history of Write That Down Purple Daily.
Yes.
Judd predicted Deshaun Watson will not be starting for the Browns in week 1.
Yep. I did. And you know what? There's not a damn thing either one of you can do about that prediction. I just thought of it before you guys did.
Judd made this prediction after it was very publicly known that Deshaun Watson was facing, I want to say, was it 30? 25 or 30?
26, I think.
Civil suits against him.
Yes.
Okay.
And you know what? He's not going to start in week 1.
This isn't like you take the snap and you move off your first read and then you throw a swing pass to Dalvin Cook. This is ball is snapped. Justin Jefferson on a jet sweep motion comes running in front of you, and you just throw the ball on a pitch like a hot potato, and he does all the work.
Yeah.
Just
and you know what? Nothing against that. Last time I checked, in the rule book.
Okay. Just want to make it known.
You know what? You could come after me all you want, but the last time I checked, I looked, that puppy's in green, and that's all we're looking for here. Green. Check down, touchdown.
Declan, how do you feel?
green.
Judd's been ripping you for making sort of,
the
CFL
CFL.
predictions and
brutal.
USFL predictions.
Well, I like watching CFL football, and I like making football-related predictions, not
Talk
just
to me
checking
about
things
Toronto.
out. Yeah,
Talk to me about the.
They might be the only ones that can give Winnipeg a run for their money. Winnipeg's undefeated. I don't know if they'll lose another game this year. We'll have to see. Maybe Calgary, though. I still like Calgary's offense.
Calgary's tough. Judd, you also said the Vikings. I don't love the phrasing here. I don't know why we said Vikings Hall of Fame, but Vikings will induct either Jared Allen or Antoine Winfield into the. It's called a Ring of Honor, and they did induct. They're going to induct Jared Allen.
Yep. And Winfield should go in. By the way,
He'll
Vikings.
get in at some point.
Antoine Winfield should be next.
He'll get in there at some point. All right, I had one thing. I'm taking this off the board. I said Mike Zimmer would be fired between. I made this prediction on October 13th last year. Yep. Between then and March 1st, and he will be a defensive coordinator for the 2022 season. So I don't know, unless something happens.
We can't find him.
Last minute. Yeah, he's just just chilling on his ranch, I guess, sitting in his feelings, reading all the narratives and stories about how he was the cancer and everything else was perfect. All right, the listeners had nothing official come off the board, so I'm going to highlight a prediction that's still sitting out there. Mike said Kirk Cousins will be on the cover of Madden 2024, so next year's edition of Madden. Judd, have you seen anything so far in the KOC Kirk Cousins partnership that would lead you to believe that this is possible?
No, but it's early. I mean, who knows? Miracles happen.
They'd have to win a Super Bowl, or like
either
him being
MVP or Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Something like that. Okay, Declan had two things come off the board. You said the Vikings will sign Ndamukong Suh by August 1st. It is August 3rd here. Does not happen. And you said the Vikings would be ranked at least 80 on the Madden team ratings that come out for Madden 23. They are exactly 80, so congratulations.
Did you give him credit for that last week? So I'm an honest participant and write that down?
No, I gave you credit for Kirk Cousins having an 80 ranking.
Oh, that's right, because that came out, I think, okay, got it. Making sure I'm being honest.
And so with that, Declan closing in on the completion percentage here, lead. I'm still sitting at just under 37%. Declan just under 34%. Judd at 29%. Listeners at 22.5%. Declan leads with 7 touchdowns to my 5, to the listeners 4, and 2 for Judd. Okay. So there we have it. All right, that's the accountability session, boys.
I'm in communication with listener Derek. He is trying to get on the show, so let's start our predictions, and if he jumps in, we'll obviously get him on here.
Okay, we'll go through ours. He can just do a barrage at the end or something
Quick jabs.
if we get him. So, all right, let's start with, we'll go down the line here. Judd, Declan, and then back to me. Football-related predictions. That's really the only.
Write this down.
Or you can make predictions about the show. That's another one you can do.
And here's where it gets good, because now the training camps have started. There is just a plethora of information coming out each day that excites me beyond belief. So write this down. Andrew Booth Jr. will start at least one game for the Vikings on defense this season. So rookie cornerback Andrew Booth Jr. will start at least one game for the Vikings on defense this season.
Boy.
Injury or just wins a job, something transpires.
This new check down Judd here. I feel like you spent so many weeks clowning Declan for his predictions, and now you're sitting here basically saying,
I'm using my knowledge from training camp.
They're going to play football for 5 months, and someone might get hurt at some point, and Booth is going to come and start.
You know what? I'm not predicting another guy will start. I'm predicting. Like if I said,
who would be the other guy?
A non-camp.
Caleb Evans?
There's other people that could start easily. What I'm doing is I'm bringing my knowledge gleaned from my long drives every day, 100 to 494 to Dodd Row. Those are long drives, and I'm using the knowledge that I'm gleaning to bring you. Or write that down.
I actually think it would be a home run the other way if you were to say, at no point this season will Andrew Booth start a game for the Vikings.
I can't do that in good conscience. Not
you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to jump in line here. Sorry.
You're not going to do that, are you?
I have a Booth prediction, but I don't think it's the same thing. So go for it.
I'm going to go for the home run here. Okay.
Go for you. Good for you.
I have so much faith in Patrick Peterson and in Cam Dantzler that I will say at no point, and this is not a slight on Andrew Booth, but I want the touchdown pass. At no point will Andrew Booth start a game for the Minnesota Vikings until I'll give you this, in the first 16 games. Because like the final week of the season,
so he will not start a game weeks 1 through 16. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically 1 through 16. And that is a touchdown because I'm basically saying that no one's going to get hurt or anything. He's a good player.
And he could fall down the depth chart too. Like he could fall down. You don't know that.
Who are the other cornerbacks that are going to challenge? It's such a weak crop. You're trying to defend this as a non-check down.
We were talking about the fact that room is stronger than we thought.
Yeah, because of Andrew Booth.
I will not be ridiculed. I will not be made fun of on this show. I am bringing my knowledge from the practice field to the heat. I stood out there 95 degrees and muggy watching that thing, sweating profusely to make assessments like this.
Okay.
I just want to. It's legal. It's fair. I just want to point out the hypocrisy of ripping Declan for 3 months and then throwing.
Well, the CFL predictions and USFL suck.
No, they just come off the board in a week. Like you make predictions that are like 6 to 9 months in the fact of it.
You just wait. I got more of those.
Write this down.
All right, amazing. Andrew Booth prediction for me too. Write this down. Andrew Booth will record an INT in the preseason, so he'll grab an interception. He'll grab an interception in one of the 3 preseason games. I think he'll get a good amount of run. He'll get a nice pick in one of the 3 preseason games. Write that down.
Ball off the Jugs machine.
Write this down.
Worried me after that pick in practice.
Yeah, see, Matt LaFleur was complaining about the Packers Jugs machine not being able to, on the punt returns, it's not turning the ball over in the air like they wanted to.
That can cause problems.
And so they're not getting a true punt simulation on their Jugs machine. And he was ripping the Jugs machine at the press conference.
That's important.
Yeah, very important.
Guys like to work on that.
All right, back to Judd for his next check down here.
Sean Payton. Sean Payton will be coach of the Dallas Cowboys in 2023. That's right, a year from now. Take that. Sean Payton will be coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy will be gone. Sean Payton will be Jerry Jones's choice. He will take over the Dallas Cowboys after sitting out a season.
Dex, is this a touchdown? Because he's saying McCarthy's going to get fired.
Yeah,
Cowboys are going to struggle. McCarthy fired, and then
or quits or whatever. I don't care how he's gone. I just think Sean Payton's the replacement.
You know what the real touchdown would be if anyone has the guts? That next season, Sean Payton will coach the Dolphins, and Tom Brady at age 46 will be the starting quarterback for the Dolphins. Come on, Stephen Ross. I
wonder if the league would
make
block
it happen.
that now because of the sanctions.
Well, I mean, at this point, well, technically Brady's under contract still, but Sean Payton can go coach the Dolphins if he wants to at this point.
Write that down.
All right, let's go back to Declan here. We'll get back in order.
For sure. All right, my second prediction. We got a Hall of Fame game this weekend, boys. Hall of Fame game, first one of the year. Jags and Raiders. And FanDuel has the over-under at this game at 30.5 points.
30 and a
Very low.
half?
30 and a half points.
Wow.
That is it. So write this down. The Jags and Raiders Hall of Fame game will be over 30 and a half points.
30 and a half. So the traditionally in the regular season, a low over under would be like a 42, or if you see like a 43 or something, it's very low. 30 is probably the lowest I've ever seen.
So write it down.
Hilarious. All right, so Dex is taking the over. Okay, write this down. Kellen Mond will throw a touchdown pass specifically to Emir Smith-Marset in the Vikings' first preseason game. Write her down. It's going to be the magic connection.
I like it.
All right, back to Judd Zolgad here.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Third and final prediction. Irv Smith Jr. will not play in the Vikings regular season opener against the Packers on September 11th. Irv
No
Smith
faith.
Jr., he had surgery. I understand O'Connell being upbeat. I don't blame him. But boy, this guy, it feels like it's always something. So I'm expecting the inevitable like setback, or he's not in great shape yet again, or something like that. He's going to miss incredibly valuable practice time in installing a new scheme. And you can't dismiss that. And I think the thing is, if Smith does not play, it's not like, oh my God, who plays tight end? I think KJ Osborne just plays more. Not a bad thing, right? So Irv Smith Jr. does not end up playing September 11th.
Yep. And by the way, we do have guest listener predictor Derek here. We're going to get to you in just a second. Once we're done with our last two, we'll let you rifle off 3 in a row. But Declan, go ahead. Make your last one.
All right, I'm going to actually make an impromptu one with Irv Smith. Yeah, potentially not going to be able to play till week 1, but I'll make a tight end prediction. Zach Davidson, Division II stud. Drafted by the Vikings last year, spent the majority of the season on the practice squad. So write this down. Zach Davidson will have more receptions in the preseason games than Johnny Munt.
I like where you're going. I like the optimism there. Okay.
Write this down.
And then my final prediction here, write this down. I think Christian Darrisaw is in for a big season as the Vikings franchise left tackle.
Yep.
So write this down. Christian Darrisaw, according to Pro Football Focus, overall offensive tackle grade. So they have an offensive tackle category that includes both right and left tackles.
Yep.
He will be among the top 12 highest graded tackles, both left and right, in the entire league.
Okay.
So I just think he's going to jump in and be pretty awesome.
A stud.
In his second year. He's going to be a stud.
Write this down.
I'm all in on Christian Darrisaw. All right, let's get our guy in here, guest listener predictor Derek,
How's it going, guys?
making his way to the show.
Hey,
What's
Derek.
going on, dude? Where are you at today?
I'm from Winona, Minnesota.
Okay.
Go Warriors.
When did you
Yeah.
become a Vikings fan?
I would say when my mom always watched Viking games back, I would say 07. So
Nice.
I've been
Okay.
through the Brett Favre, been through the Blair Walshes of the days.
Okay, so you kind of grew up on Peterson and
Yep.
little Brett Favre into the
I wasn't
Mike
there
Zimmer
for the
era.
Anderson kick or any of that, but I was
Consider
around.
yourself
I've been
lucky.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to experience heartbreaks and miracles, I would say.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get to you. We're going to kind of let you rifle through 3 predictions here,
Write this down.
starting with your first one. So give it a rip,
All right.
man.
All right, so this one might be bold, coming from Minnesota. Write this down. Greg Joseph will miss less than 3 kicks this year.
Oh,
Wow.
You believe in the hype?
Are we doing field
Yep.
goals or extra
I
points?
heard
Or
the podcast yesterday, so I got to hop on that. I believe in Greg the Leg. So
I love it. Hey, just to clarify, are you talking just field goals or both field goals and extra points?
I'll just do field goals to be safe.
Okay. I love this. So,
Greg the leg. You're like, pretty good
Greg the
leg. I don't know
leg.
completely.
Yep.
all right, prediction number 2.
Write this down.
All right. You might think I'm crazy, but
Oh, no.
No.
I think we lost his connection.
Come on, Winona.
Winona State Warriors.
Come on, Winona. Get
They
that.
gave us fits.
Oh, he moved.
Hold on.
No.
Let's I'll just throw him out here for just a second while his connection gets better. And in the meantime, let's tell our friends here, listeners of Purple Daily, how Judd Zolgad went from looking like an offensive lineman at last year's training camp to now looking
face.
like a kicker, pretty much.
Absolutely chiseled, thanks to my friends, or close, at Livia Weight Control Centers, where, as I've been talking about for months now, down 40 pounds, and the best part is losing the weight was easy, but I'm keeping it off as well, and that's the most important thing. Dawn has joined me and the Zolgad household, down 50 plus pounds, feeling great, and day by day looking better. I want you to join me now on the Simple Start plan, only $59. One-on-one personalized or guided support online or in person, whichever is the most convenient for you. It's this simple. 855-GO-LIVEA, livia.com, livea.com. I'm telling you right now, teamwork is the best thing. So if you and your wife or girlfriend are trying to lose that weight, Livia, livea.com is the place to check it out.
A couple weeks ago, our guy Ryan made predictions on Write That Down. His company is called Equity Partners, and they believe the house selling process should be 100% hassle-free. So here's what happens when you partner with Equity Partners. They will help fix up your home before you put it on the market. And you can move before you sell. When you partner with Equity Partners, you can put offers in on your next home, non-contingent on the sale of yours, which is absolutely enormous and convenient. Learn more at equitypartnersmn.com. Equitypartnersmn.com. And the number is 612-999-2244. 612-999-2244. So I think we lost our guy Derek, so we might just have to, maybe he can send in his last couple
Write this down.
predictions via email. How about this? If he pops back in during Judd's camp notes, maybe we can just sprinkle in Derek from whatever cell tower he's pinging around Winona, Minnesota throughout the rest of the show here. But that's Write That Down, the accountability session, the most high-wire, risky segment in all of sports media.
Don't do this at home.
No, it is
Don't
very
try this at home.
dangerous to your reputation.
The board game is coming,
wait,
but don't
wait.
ever.
Should we pop him in
All
here?
right, let's try Derek one more time here. All right, we got
Sorry
you, Derek.
about that, guys. Sorry about that.
It's all good, man.
All right, what is
Did
your
you catch my
second
second
prediction?
one? Oh,
No.
Okay, it would be Kirk Cousins throws less than 4 interceptions all year.
Wow.
Whoa, dude.
I believe in Kevin
this
McConnell.
Whoa. So that would be a far cry from Matthew Stafford last year, who threw, I think, a league-leading 17. But maybe that's the level to Kirk's. Maybe there's an Aaron Rodgers level to Kirk's game that we're going to see this year. All right, and then Derek, give us your third and final prediction.
Write that down.
This might already been said, but I believe Justin Jefferson will break the single-season receiving yards record.
Boom. Does Calvin Johnson still have that, or did Cooper Kupp break
I
it?
think Calvin Johnson has it right.
I think
Okay.
I think Megatron still has it.
It'll be like a 2,000-yard season, basically, is what we're talking about. All right. Awesome. All right, Derek. Well, since you've got this life-changing platform here now on Purple Daily, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that brought you to this pinnacle moment?
Well, first off, I'd like to thank you guys for bringing me on. It's always an honor. I've been listening to you guys for 4 months now. So
Thank you.
you guys are always entertaining. It keeps me entertained at work. I'd like to thank my family, keeping me loyal to the Vikings fans through ups and mostly downs. But, yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, Derek, thanks for coming on. Thanks for finding our show a few months ago and looking forward to the season. Good luck with your predictions, man.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks,
All
Derek.
right, dude. There's Derek. Great job as the guest listener predictor.
audibles.
Got the connection issues worked out.
Pop right back on.
That's how you
Give us a
adjust
beat.
on the fly right there.
Yeah?
Great work by Derek.
Kirk, watch that.
Exactly. Robotic Kirk. All right, now we get to
do it.
Judd's camp notes here on this Wednesday episode of Purple Daily, where Judd, veteran Vikings reporter, puts the sunscreen on, opens up multiple different notebooks, his phone. He's taking videos for Score North TikTok, and he empties the bag of information for you guys here on Purple Daily.
All right, so let's start with the news that we played at the top of this show, which was Kevin O'Connell updating the media on injuries. Oh, my God, yes, that's correct. Irv Smith Jr. Will unfortunately miss the rest of training camp and the preseason, maybe set to play on September 11th in the regular season opener against the Packers because of I would take it, broken thumb that required surgery on Tuesday morning, and I think it's worth an exploration of what that means, because Irv Smith Jr. is the one tight end on this roster who I think, in the minds of the Vikings, can double as a tight end / receiver. Beyond that, they really don't have one. It's basically guys that can block. That does not mean that you can't use Johnny Munt, Zach Davidson or whomever makes the roster, certainly to block and occasionally catch passes. But to double back on what I said, gents, I think that the big thing is until Irv Smith is set, this opens more room for KJ Osborne to actually play. And I'm going to tell you right now, for the most part, he's surprised in training camp last year. So I'm not trying to downplay the effect that he had with his performance in camp last year, and that's certainly then translated. But I think with the offensive scheme now and with the ability to play more, that there is another level. So I don't think that we should get too hung up on, well, Irv Smith can't play, now they're really screwed at tight end. I think what this essentially means is that you can now just sort of flip to different packages with different personnel groupings.
Yeah, this is so interesting because there isn't really an obvious pass catching backup to Irv Smith. And I think what I'm wondering is if Irv Smith wasn't a great pass catcher, and I don't know that we know that he is. We think he is. The idea of Irv Smith is tantalizing these last few years. But are they more interested in the tight end as a pass catching weapon? And there's some evidence with Higbee in Los Angeles that they'll absolutely target tight ends, and it doesn't mean that you're not necessarily always choosing between a third wide receiver and a tight end. But I don't know that I trust anyone behind Irv Smith to come out and be a pass catching tight end. So maybe it just means fewer tight end snaps in this offense, which I guess we'll start. You'll probably start to find this out just watching some of the practices. Although they're probably going to do different things in practice just to install playbooks and stuff.
I can't see anything. KOC, what's going on? All right, so that's talking point one in Judd's training camp notes from a hot, muggy session in shorts and I think shells on Tuesday. Talking point two, I want to talk about the running back battle. The battle for now. Dalvin Cook, clearly the guy, but as we discussed, he hurt his finger and basically didn't take part in team drills when he was going through individual drills. Alexander Madison, the backup to Cook, then got hurt, again, his finger in team drills. But at the outset of when KOC was going through the injury list, he brought up Kene Nwangwu, who has suffered some type of lower body soft tissue injury. Opening the door, and this is interesting, and this is where a guy like Kene, you definitely don't want to miss time. Opening the door more so for a guy that we talked about a few days ago on this show, Tyson Chandler. Because Tyson Chandler, I'm not saying he's the same player, but he's really fast. He was drafted by this Vikings brass. Nwangwu was not. It's just very interesting that with the amount of guys that eventually were out of practice on Tuesday, it opens the door more and more for Tyson Chandler to get a good long look. And I would not sleep on Tyson Chandler's at least viability of making the final roster.
Yeah, I feel like he should make the final roster, and it's so hard to know what they think of Kene Nwangwu. They probably love his speed, but we look, again, it's another one of those examples. If we look at what we think he could be, if you used him in a certain package, they might look at him and say, he's a kick returner, but in terms of guys that we would actually design plays to give the ball to, he's not a guy that we're not going to give him 5 design plays in a given week. But some of this we won't know until we get deeper into training camp and into preseason games and see what some of these guys look like. So,
talking point number 3, Judd's training camp notes from Tuesday. Veterans days off. Okay, veterans, which by the way I'm fine with. So if you're expecting Jugs to complain about this, I'm not going to. Harrison Smith, Patrick Peterson, Jesse Davis, the right guard, who is slowly but surely, I think, being worked in from a knee issue. He has practiced a lot, but this would have been the second practice that he basically has been off. They were given Veterans Days. Now, why is this intriguing? Because this allows for depth chart intrigue. This allowed us to see more, and this is where Phil and Declan are going to be and this is where you should be excited too. PD faithful.
Good, baby. All right, let's go get it.
All right, here's what we got. And this is interesting. Some surprising, some not. Number 1, Harrison Smith, not surprising. Replaced by Lewis Seen. Okay, makes perfect sense. First round draft pick. a guy that I think we all expect to get some sort of playing time in 2022. He replaces Smith. Peterson replaced by Andrew Booth Jr., but here's what's interesting about that, and this is the type of thing that Purple Daily takes you behind the scenes on. With Peterson out, Peterson is ordinarily the outside left corner, Dantzler's the right corner. They flipped him. Dantzler goes to Peterson's place on the left corner, and Andrew Booth Jr. right corner. So if we were to have an injury, let's say, to Peterson, I think what you would see is Dantzler would shift to the left side, Booth would play the right side.
And then
That's
you would get to
interesting.
write that down point.
Exactly right, which I deserve, no matter what you say. No matter what you say. Now, here's I saved the best for last. Jesse Davis didn't practice. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, Chris Reed did.
Yeah,
Because he's been the second.
Just put Chris Reed in there. Just throw him
Bump
in
him
there.
up.
Yeah.
No. Ed Ingram,
Oh,
rookie
Wow.
draft pick, was with the first team at right guard. Ed Ingram.
wow. That is noteworthy, right?
It gets juicier. It gets juicy. Like,
Tell
that's
us
juicy.
more. Talk
it
dirty.
Gets juicier. I'm going to talk some football to you boys.
Yeah.
And all of you out there, because this is where the rubber meets the road of being prepared. Garrett Bradbury, we talked about full padded practice on Monday, struggled, right? He did not look that good. So previously, Austin Schlottman had been the number 2 center, and Sokol, who is an undrafted free agent, who is probably going to be a practice squad guy, was the 3rd team. Yesterday, Chris Reed was the backup center.
Interesting.
There is no question.
That's really interesting.
You do not have to do a lot of work with the tea leaves to put them together.
So, okay, I'm gonna let me try to decipher this from afar. You tell me if I'm on the right track here. They're not, and probably never have been, fully in love and committed to Garrett Bradbury. But hey, let's give him a full chance throughout minicamp, OTAs, early part of training camp. Let's see what he looks like getting into this new offense. But let's make sure that we have some contingency plans on the roster in case he looks bad during training camp. So the first part of that was Austin Schlottman. You're going to be the backup center throughout the offseason and the early part of camp. Chris Reed, we need you to be, because we also have a right guard situation happening here too. So Chris Reed, we want you to start at, I think he was left guard at early part of training camp here, but you're going to be a guard to start with. But if Bradbury starts to look bad, we're going to need more than just Schlottman as a guy that we can trust at center. And so let's give Chris Reed, okay, not in love with the way Bradbury looks. Let's start getting Chris Reed up in the mix so we can have a little competition behind Garrett Bradbury. And the fact that I think independently, the fact that Ingram is the first guy that you would call upon to move up with the ones in the absence of Jesse Davis shows a high level of confidence.
Yes.
That you could just slot him in maybe as a starter. Not that they're giving him a look. I'm not saying that he's anointed
impressed.
here, but yeah.
A week plus in, a week in now, they clearly are starting to decide what I would call bailout plans, which is if Bradbury can't play, like you can't start him if he can't play. And Harrison Phillips is a very serviceable to probably good defensive tackle. But if Harrison Phillips pushes Bradbury around, guess what? A lot of the National Football League is going to, and you can't have that. Like you can't tell Kirk, we're going to do everything we can for you, but the center's not going to be good.
And you know what? I am not reporting this. This is just sort of educated speculation and just my thoughts having watched sports and covered teams for almost 20 years. Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi, but Kevin O'Connell specifically, is having a lot of conversations with Kirk Cousins going back to last January. They're meeting every week now. They've got their little private sessions that didn't start till week. Yeah, well, yeah. They're meeting all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. They're probably texting on a fairly regular basis throughout the last few months. And, just based on how open and collaborative this new Vikings brass tends to be, Kevin O'Connell is probably asking Kirk throughout the last 6 months, hey, what do you need? What plays do you like? What are the things how can we make your life easier? How can we maximize you? What gives you trouble? And I guarantee you, even though Kirk would never say this because he doesn't like to throw teammates completely under the bus, sometimes he'll passive-aggressively say things, but he's not going to throw Garrett Bradbury under the bus at a press conference podium. But don't you think in moments of honesty, he's telling Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi, guys, I love Garrett. He's a great guy, and there's definitely some flashes there, but there's way too many times where I take a snap and boom, there's just interior pressure in my face. So they're hearing it from Kirk in the most like Kirk tactful way possible.
Right.
And the fact that they're sort of acting on a bailout plan early in camp, a week into camp, is not surprising at all. It's the prudent thing to do.
3 words for you. Film don't lie. Like, I don't need Kirk to tell me that Bradbury gets pushed around consistently. And I'm sorry, adding like 10 to 15 pounds, that the center position, I'll go back to this, you have to be a nasty SOB. And if you just put on weight, but you're still like just sort of who you are, and that's not even a bad thing. But film don't lie.
No.
And look, the coaching staff, rightfully so, was upset. The ball was on the ground on Monday way too much. The running backs fumbled 3 times. I think there were 5 potential fumbles. So there is a lot that was on film on Monday, first full padded practice, where you're like, we got to clean these things up. And we can't just accept that, like, on Bradbury. You can't be like, well, it's one bad practice. No, it's a history, and now it's continuing.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. Yes, this is a smart move.
I know we have at least one final nugget here from Judd's notebook that I can see, but real quick, a shout out to our friends over at Surly, jumping back in for the 2022 season. So we're pumped to have them for another season of Purple football. And the summer of Surly continues on, boys. We're in the heart of the summer of Surly right now, quite frankly.
That's right. It's beating on a daily basis. And you know what it's saying? It's saying, why aren't you drinking Surly beer? And I'm talking Furious. I'm talking the Supremes. I'm talking Logic Bomb. It doesn't matter which one because they're all so damn good, but this is the perfect time of year. It's hot out. Perhaps you're going to the lake. Perhaps you're out on your deck at home. The weekend is coming again, and you got to ask yourself a very important question, and that's, are you prepared? Because right now, the Vikings are preparing. They're preparing for the season, and as they prepare, you must be prepared for the weekend. And taking advantage of the summer of Surly, that's what I call preparation and getting your personnel right.
You know, maybe go up north. Maybe you got your cooler of Surly over here, but then you got your tickets to Brainerd International Raceway over there. Fun little weekend decks.
Yeah, the annual Lucas Oil Nationals at Brainerd International Raceway, August 18th to the 21st. Get your tickets, BIRMN.com. Every ticket comes with a pit pass. Kids 12 and under also get in free. And you can be right there, with that pit pass, right between the cars and the races, getting that nitro fuel. You know, you tip one back of Surly, get a nitro fuel in your face. Tip one back of Surly, more nitro fuel in your face. Lucas Oil Nationals at Brainerd International Raceway, BIRMN.com for ticket information.
All right, what is your final note in your camp notes till we get to tomorrow's show?
My final note is the punt return competition is alive and well. It's ongoing, and I think it's important. I really do. Like, you've got to have the person that gets to do this job. It's a high stress, high pressure. And you know what we've seen the last 2 years? We've seen far too much feebleness from a position that can change the game. That can change the game by putting you in plus territory to start your drives if done right. Here's what we got so far. Working off the jugs machine. KJ Osborne, Amir Smith-Marset, Albert Wilson, and an interesting candidate, Jalen Naylor.
Ooh.
No love for my guy Thomas Hennigan anymore?
He's doing it some, but he's not going to make the team.
They're kind of bored with him.
I'm going with, and he is, but he's not going to make the team, I don't think.
The disrespect here.
Osborne being firmly back in the mix intrigues me. Because I got to think if he plays as much as I think he's going to play, I don't know that he's going to return punts. He certainly could. But that's an interesting list. Amir Smith-Marset could really help himself because I don't think, I think he's going to play some if he makes the team, but he's certainly not going to be a top 3 guy. So he would separate himself and potentially vie for a spot on the 53, Phil, by also proving that he can return punts. He's sort of my dark horse as far as it offers a lot of value and a reason to keep him around if he can return punts.
I love the idea of Amir Smith-Marset. I think KJ Osborne's probably going to be so immersed in the actual offense, and he had such a bad debut as a punt returner that I would definitely see how he looks. Maybe he can get better, and maybe he is the ideal. If he all of a sudden can return punts at a more reliable clip, then maybe he's the one that makes the most sense. But I just love the idea of getting Amir Smith-Marset more involved. If he can just get the ball 2 or 3 extra times a game because he's returning punts and use that speed.
Yes.
You probably go to him and
exactly.
you say, listen, dude, so barring injury, you're going to get targeted some in the offense because we're going to roll 4 wide receivers sometimes, but this is your real chance to solidify a place on this team. If you can be a reliable punt returner, it'll unlock a 5-year NFL career minimum, and then you'll maybe get some more opportunities as a number 2, number 3 wide receiver in the future. But if you can nail this, you're a lock, dude. So we'll see.
Love it. That's all I got for you guys.
There it is, Judd.
Full pads today, though.
Training camp notes.
Pads today. Pads are on.
Oh, yes.
I'll be heading
Inject
out
it.
there.
Football, yeah, football,
SPF 30, hat, notebook, phone.
Zolgad.
Shoes.
Shoes.
Bring-
Socks.
Bring.
Sunscreen.
Lunch.
Glasses.
No lunch. I'm not
Surly.
eating. It's football.
Nutrisource.
Hydrate, though.
Livia.
Hydrate.
Surly.
Livia tells me, hydrate. It's the key to losing weight.
All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow for another episode of this daily Vikings entertainment where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. Thanks for hanging with us, Purple Daily.